Tanisha.
Hey there, JG. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
How you doing? You ain't got to
Doing
answer
good.
twice.
Happy Friday.
Friday. Happy Friday to you. Um,
Absolutely.
we got to get these people out here, let them know. I know Facebook tells them, but I want to make sure that they know, hey, we are out here today on Friday. Some of our peoples, they are in different countries. So we got to make sure we let them know, hey, today in Black America Zone. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Drum roll, please. Right? That sound like somebody like police knocking on the door.
Black America's here. Black America's here.
We might need to do that as an intro.
Right? Shit.
Yeah.
All right, let's try it again. Let's try that again. Let's try it again. I'm gonna do the drum roll. You're gonna say today in, and I'm gonna follow it. All right?
Okay.
Ready?
Ready? Today in
Black America's here.
I like it. I like
You
it.
like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. I like it. I like it. I
Right.
really, really like it.
Now
Yeah.
you do your falsetto. Okay, L. Okay, L. DeBarge. Chico. What?
Not Chico. Not Chico. Not Chico.
That Chico?
I'm not egging you, baby.
Oh my God. Oh my
I'll
God.
take L. I'll take L. That brother,
L.
man, he has a crazy voice, man.
What's the other one?
James.
James. Is it
James was wicked.
which one is the one who passed away in Switch?
Don't give me the line. That was the older one. His falsetto was crazy.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
We need to do so next week. Man, we got so many stories, but for next week we need to do something because they've been in the media recently. I forget which James, so that's the one that married Janet, and it's one other brother. It's not L, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing some kind of show, Netflix, something they doing, but they showing them and they're not in the best condition.
Shit.
They looked to be, on substances, right?
Mental.
But they're doing something because it's this interview. I don't know what it is, but it's a show they got out or something, a documentary, a show or something.
I want to know when they're going to start, forgiving themselves because what their father did to them wasn't their fault.
It wasn't their fault, but I think it just has so many levels of trauma. And their mother also, I heard, died like late last year.
I mean, like their sister, she was beautiful, but what happened to her? Oh my gosh, that's so gut wrenching, sickening.
It's
so
like
we're gonna do a show dedicated to them.
Yeah, let's do a show dedicated to them and I think we do have to. We got to go in the archives and look at those documentaries about them. I heard they're really sad. I've seen part of one, like what is the Behind the Music or whatever.
Yeah, that was sad.
That was sad, but it's also another one, and it talks about that family's history, the drug abuse. Apparently, the mother was abused as well, and may have also been on things. And we know that father of theirs, raped, abused them, and I think some of the siblings then turned to at least one of them.
Cope with it.
They also began to abuse their siblings. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Now let's talking about abuse. Let's talking about abuse. We're not making fun of Elder Bosch.
Yeah, we love L. We love L.
Right.
He's yeah.
Now,
Grand Rapids zone, right?
Yes.
Grand Rapids,
we're going to talk about abuse. Abuse here. Let me find this thing here. A Karen decided to do something to a black woman, And we're gonna watch this, and I'm gonna say my opinion, but you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
But it's not space.
You're sitting, sir.
Did I give you permission?
I gotta get my
Started
charger.
over, y'all.
Just leave it alone. She's
Okay.
cool.
There's a seat. There's a seat.
You can record all day.
There's a seat here. It's okay.
You see? It's not space.
Look, exactly. We're all sitting. It's all right.
But it's not space.
You're sitting, sir.
Did I give you permission? No.
You are right, but
Okay, but can you move? Can you move,
Oh my
please?
God! No, I'm not
I'm
moving.
not giving you permission to record.
No,
So can
I'm
you
not
move?
moving. No, I'm not moving.
You have to tell me you're recording. You're not even
No, I
telling
don't
me.
have to tell.
Jobbar smidigt.
Kill me.
Jobbar smidigt ska vara faktiskt. What's det? What does that mean? Jobbar.
excuse me.
She just spit in my face.
There's more. So currently you have an unhinged Karen who has allegedly committed assault by deciding to spit in a person's face. They are at a kindergarten graduation, by the way.
All right. What's your take?
My take is asses need to be beat. That's my take. Somebody's ass needs to be beat because spitting on somebody is universally code for getting your ass whooped.
I wonder why she didn't whoop her ass.
Probably because she might have thought like she was around the babies, around the kids, and we got to think of so many things before we react, right? How it's going to be perceived.
Whoop her ass.
You say fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids. Whoop that trick.
And then if you saw the end of it, they're taking the Karen away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to use the word Carolyn. I like to call them Carol Bryant, right? Let's call it what it is.
Okay.
Carol Bryant, right? They're taking the Carol Bryants away.
Mm-hmm. Now who's Carol Bryant? Help me out here.
Carol Bryant is the woman who she died recently. I want to say maybe 2023. She's the woman who lied and said Emmett Till whistled at her.
Oh, that woman.
That one.
Carol Bryant. All right.
Carol, I think, Karen, it's like, and I get it. I get the Karen, right, I get the terminology. I get it, but it's like, let's put a name behind it, right? Like a real person. So that's that level of evil that I saw in that woman. If you look at that woman's face in that video, it's nothing but evil in her face.
All right, let's go
because how are you at a kindergarten graduation acting that
Police
way?
eventually arrive. She then decides to play victim. Here it is.
Exactly.
Can you move, please?
So you're sitting, I'm sitting, there's
No,
space.
you came to my space.
Sir, we're all sitting.
We are in a
Okay, I know, but she came to...
That is absolutely
Yeah, publicly you can record.
You can record. But see, why are you?
But because over a seat, ma'am, it's not the point. The point is, I guess you cannot walk away without speaking to her. Ma'am, so are you saying it's okay if I go to the first row and just sit in between two people like that now? No, I'm not. That's not right. That's what she was. Okay, but I will speak with her.
Why she sound like she's like Spanish, some kind of Latino or Latino?
I'm not sure if she is. She almost looks Eastern European to me, but I could be wrong. But it's almost like with most of these incidents, people are treated with kid gloves, even though they are the aggressor, right? Yeah. They are the aggressor. I hope to God. I mean, we were talking the other day about the assault charges filed against the one young lady, the track runner, right? Mm-hmm. If anything needs to be filed, it's this. That woman should not have been allowed to leave without being in handcuffs because she has video evidence. And I'm sure people will say this actually happened, but she is video evidence being spit upon. What more do you need?
That's all you needed right there. That's
What
all
more
you
do you
right
need?
there.
And why is she not in handcuffs being dragged away? Is what I want to know.
This is what she needs right here. 1 second.
There you go.
Yeah. Richard. Oh.
That's what she needs right
Exactly.
there. Will, do it again.
Exactly.
Do it again, Will.
Exactly. Do it again. Exactly. She needs that.
That's what she needed.
Exactly. That's what she needed. That's what she needed. And I give sis credit. She was calm, controlled. She didn't react. Y'all would have had to get my bail money ready. My son already knows. He gets a call. He knows what's up.
I don't think
okay?
it's
Have my bail money
self-defense.
ready. Because I'm going to jail that day. I'm going to jail.
It is self-defense. It is self-defense.
I'm going.
Somebody spit on you. You're not going to jail. You're not going to jail. You defending yourself. They spit on you. You put your hands back on them. That's what started the assault. So that's self-defense right there. Now, if you beat the shit out of them, they die. Then it's aggravated assault or whatever. But self-defense all the way, man. But let's go. Let's move on to the next one.
Right.
Will, what you got to say to Stephen A. Smith about this one again? Because this is what he needed. Let's go back.
Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Yes. That's what Stephen A. Smith needs because he went on
Party is
this
struggling.
platform right here.
The latest survey from Navigator Research, which says its mission is to, quote, develop winning progressive messages. It found a whopping 70% of voters in swing congressional districts.
God bless you.
You can't help yourself. Yeah, they wouldn't even stand or clap for no tax on tips, Social Security. Or that background is your background. You can't help yourself. You are loving this attention. Oh, is Stephen A. running for president? I'm not going to fuel the fire by putting the White House behind me on
Sean
a
Hannity.
television hit.
Sean Hannity, all I have to say is this. God bless you. And God bless.
God bless
the
you,
United States
too.
of
God bless America.
Absolutely.
Right.
What's up,
I
man?
appreciate
What's up?
You're not running for president. I don't against for the safety of Americans over the rights of illegals. They're not going to do it. They're going to shut down the government or threaten.
But some of the Democrats during the Lincoln rally, I was talking about them not standing for the young boy that was a cancer patient. I mean, hell came up with 22 representatives, and I don't think that I'm alone that's ready to purge the damn party. Name is Donald Trump, and as you have told me on many occasions, he was going to end up being right about Zelensky because Zelensky about this. You have a good time.
No tax on tips, Social Security. No.
Normal. Outside of all of those things, here's the ultimate crime that's going on, and they better do something about it.
Trying to hurt his business, and all he's done is saved American taxpayers.
You have people looking at him and leaning on the power of Donald Trump, and it scares them. Things to make, have his son in the NBA, and he was bringing unnecessary attention on his son prematurely. In my estimation, he didn't like that, so he confronted me. It's his prerogative. He didn't put his hands on me. That's all that matters. He can feel whatever way he wants to feel. I'm going to do my job. I cover sport. That's what I'm going to do.
I would have had your back if I was.
Now, really, Sean, stop playing. Stop playing with all of us right now.
This is what LeBron James should do to Stephen A. Smith. Sorry. Let me get.
Wow, dude. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow.
Another one.
Wow.
Another one.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Another one.
Oh, wow.
That's what LeBron needs at this point. I said LeBron is a Rottweiler pit bull versus a Chihuahua, right? With Stephen A.
Exactly.
Smith, different size difference. The minute you go on Fox News and talking to Sean Hannity about it is when Will Smith needs to come up and tell you, keep my son's name out your mouth. That's what LeBron needs to do at this point.
Keep it out.
And that's what he basically told him, but he didn't slap him. But
give me 1 second. 1 second. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, all right.
I'm good. Yeah, we're good.
That's Sean Hannity is one of the white people that black people don't need to be talking our business to and about.
Really on the whole network. I don't know what kind of arrangement, Stephen A. Smith has with Fox News or whatever. I don't know if he's angling for a job at the network. I have no idea. But as far as LeBron business, black people business, like you said, just keep our names out of. Sean Hannity has no reason at all to be speaking on us.
He's just going to twist. He's going to twist that story around. He's going to twist it around and make it like, see, look at these two ignorant ninjas.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Fox News does. They are very despicable. I watched Kamala's interview with CBS, right, that she did. And then I saw a clip on Fox News, the same interview Kamala did. And it's entire. I watched it entirety. They sat there and made it out like she said things that was so anti-government, anti-U.S. on their news station. I said, these people are the National Enquirer.
Yeah.
And their viewers are just cave people. Like, they believe that fire just started 5 years ago.
Neanderthals.
Believe that, yes, just past Neanderthals. Whatever the first subhumans was, that's Fox News followers when it comes to them giving them news. Like, it's crazy.
They have an agenda. They have an agenda. That's why I can't believe it's like Stephen A. Smith. Come on, man. Come on now. What good are you getting about this man? Like, again, stay out of black people business.
He attracted people to his podcast. Stephen A. Smith is already on ESPN, one of the biggest sports networks in the world, the biggest sports network in the world. He's on ESPN. He got this big, massive contract. Outside of ESPN, Stephen A. Smith has a podcast that has his viewers and followings and all that stuff. He went up there talking about negatively, basically about the Democratic Party and what they didn't do or shouldn't do and all this other stuff. And at the end of the day, long story short, he now attracted those Neanderthals or sub-Neanderthals to his podcast because they now feel like they can relate to Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. That explains it all. Explains it all. That explains it all. I'm just, look, we're not inviting people to no cookouts. Invitations is rescinded forever permanently. Don't be inviting nobody to the cookout. They don't even get a to-go plate, okay?
Now I see why KD feels the way he feels about Stephen A. And with LeBron, I've already kind of felt some kind of way about Stephen A. But I've always been the middle of the line. He has some valid points when it comes to certain things. But then he has some points where it's like, dude, I can't rock with you here. I can't rock with you. And he's at the point where I'm like 80% not rocking with him.
What did KD say about Stephen A. Smith?
Basically, I'm like a bitch ass. Like, he's not worth the pencil that he writes.
Okay.
Basically.
So he called him out. Okay.
He called him out.
And I get being controversial, as a way to, you know what I'm saying, to kind of being the selling point. But this was just, this whole Sean Hannity commenting, oh, I got your back. Man, you don't have nothing.
No.
Just worry about MAGA. That's what you need to worry about.
Just worry about your MAGA base, your Neanderthalic base, and that's it, right? And while in the process, black people, this is what we need to start doing. Man, you don't have enough. Black people, this is what we need to start doing to Sean Hannity.
I like that clap.
That's what we need to start doing to Sean Hannity, man.
Basically. I wish the woman with the woman who spat on her at the kindergarten graduation. I wish she had done that. For sure. For sure. Right.
But here we go. We're gonna go to this next one. We're gonna give you our update. So tragic story that came out of Waterbury, Connecticut. Y'all know Connecticut is my home state. Waterbury is like 40 minutes away from Hartford, Connecticut, which is my hometown. Tragic story. Now, there was an update. Remember, you said this young man fell through the cracks. And I said, nah, the school called on him. He's like, this one fell through the cracks. And I was like, okay. Now, it's not about who's right or wrong, but the system did fail him from when he was 11 years old. He lost really much.
Like 20 years.
19 years of his life.
Okay.
19 years. He probably doesn't know what an iPhone is. He probably doesn't even know what the PlayStation 5 and things like that is. Not even just, that's just part of his life. He didn't get to go normalcy. He didn't get to finish high school. He didn't get to go to even explore college. He had his life stolen from him. But guess what? The people in the community said this.
We knew it. We reported it. Not a damn thing was done. That's the tragedy of the whole thing.
Tom Pannone hasn't seen the alleged victim since he was in 4th grade in the early 2000s, but says he always knew something was wrong. He was the principal at the now closed Barnard Elementary School and says he and his staff noticed that the child was extremely small and thin. He says when they asked him questions, the boy told them he wasn't allowed food at times at the house.
Everyone really was concerned with this child since he was 5 years old. You knew something was wrong. It was grossly wrong.
He says teachers would even bring food in for the student. He says he and his team made multiple calls to his stepmom, Kimberly Sullivan, and called the Department of Children and Families at least 20 times. The arrest warrant says the student was told to lie and say everything was fine. But by 5th grade, he never came back to school.
You don't disappear off the face of the earth at 10 years old.
Pannone was told the student was enrolled in Wolcott schools, but he couldn't find any records of that. He was also told at one point the boy was homeschooled.
We probably saw that kid 3 times outside.
Paula DePina says she lived next door to the Sullivan home from 2003 to 2009 and says she would see Kimberly, the late husband, and 2 daughters, but not the stepson as often, and says when she did catch a glimpse, what she saw was deeply troubling.
I'm trembling right now just thinking about it, just because I can remember his face.
And as for neighbors now,
I've never seen a stepson, never.
It's shocking, like not knowing what's going on around you.
Pannone says he feels anger hearing that his former student allegedly was pushed so hard he had to set fire to his own home to escape, and shares this message to his former student.
Sorry we couldn't do more because you went through more than any of us ever will go through in our lives.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app.
That is hard. That's heartbreaking, and thank you for that update, because that is heartbreaking. It's like like we discussed, it's clear that he fell through the cracks, and the crazy part is they reported this boy and no one did anything. They reported on no one did anything
at all.
That's crazy.
20 times. And there was another video. I was trying to get that video, and I'll get it on Monday. There was a brother who was right next door. And he said, man, there were times I would see him peep, but he was like, yo, this dude disappeared.
Right, because he's there 1 minute and gone the next, right?
But then we come to find out yesterday they didn't mention there was some daughters there. So
right,
this is some real life Cinderella on the male side shit.
Well, what's crazy about abuse when you start looking into it, and if one child, like a lot of times, sometimes all the kids are abused, but there are other times where one is singled out.
Mm-hmm.
One is singled out, and so that's probably what this was, right?
Yes, not probably. That's definitely what this ish was.
That's what it was, because I don't think the others were abused. It was just him.
Definitely, and that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I know they tried, but the system failed this boy. The system failed. Nobody ever. It failed him, because how can you have, even like we discussed yesterday when he changed schools, right? or when they pulled him out of the school. If this child had so many, open defects or child protective services inquiries, something should have been done. Where, someone should have said, where is this boy?
Right.
It's unfortunate it didn't happen.
Correct. So, once again, we're gonna give you more updates on that story. I'm gonna give y'all one more playback on that story on Monday. I'm gonna find the brother that was right next door, and apparently they was familiar with each other. And he's like, "Yo, I can't explain," because he was there for 5 years. He was his neighbor for about 5 years. He said, "How do somebody just disappear like that?"
Right? How does it happen?
They lied. They say he was homeschooled, so to get the schools out of their business, they first said he was transferred to another school. Then they said he was homeschooled. So 2 things. If I want you off my back, I'm gonna lie about your existence, right? Where you at? If I'm homeschooled schooling you, you ain't got no business to check up on me.
Exactly.
But
this reminds me of a Detroit case of a case in Detroit, my hometown, of where this mother, her children were found. I think 1, maybe 2, were found in a freezer.
Mm-hmm.
And the horrificness. They were black. They were black. And the same situation, the foolery and the lying with the school, right? People knew something was wrong. There were the teachers knew that something was wrong, because teachers always know. Not saying always, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
They are around your children from 8 until 3, right?
Yes.
And they'll know things sometimes that even, unfortunately, us as parents may not even know.
At what point should the neighborhood go and beat down the door and figure out what's going on?
Well,
not just Detroit, just in general. At what point do we go back to the village and you see a kid one day and they disappear? There's no traces of them being packed up and moved, or these children that was locked in the freezer. When as a village, do we say, yo, what the fuck is up? What's going on here? Because we get so caught up into our own selves that we forget. Sometimes it's good to mind your business, and sometimes it's not good.
You're right. I think in this case, it's a lot of cases where we can ask and say, well, the village didn't do our job, right? Yes. In this case, I think the village did their job. Those neighbors called, those teachers called. It doesn't sound like anything ever happened. And honestly, I don't, it sounds like the boy, was hidden away or locked up, and it makes you wonder, would the police even have found? I mean, it's so many things that it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, and wish that someone had tried to save this man. I mean, I'm calling him a boy, but he's a man.
Well, he's a man. He's a man now.
Right.
But you were right for saying the boy, to save the boy who then became the man.
Became a man. Yeah.
You were right for that saying.
Nobody saved him. And children are like children, just abusive children. It's like it's one of my hot spots. I don't have any kind of sympathy at all.
For the ladies in the jail, because this woman is going to jail, number one. She's going to go to jail. So ladies in prison, this is what we need you to do to her, okay? Hold on one second. Let me remove this. And yes, I am advocating violence on this one, because this is what needs to happen to her.
This is your death wish. Better come correct, because I came to break you off. Whoop that trick, get him, whoop that trick. Whoop that trick, get him, whoop that trick.
That's what needs to happen to her.
Some things need to happen. Some moving jail room furniture needs to happen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the next topic that we got going on today. You remember those people in that town?
What town?
In Ohio, around Cleveland.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let me make sure.
Now they're at the center of a much larger debate about protection and free speech and who gets it.
These aren't police. Of a growing national debate about civil rights, hate speech, and the Second Amendment. NBC News correspondent and NBC News Now daily anchor Morgan Radford visited the town of Lincoln Heights, where residents have formed an armed community defense group in the wake of a neo-Nazi rally. Morgan joins us now. You were there just on Tuesday. What did the residents tell you about what's going on?
Yeah, I was there just this week. John, it was fascinating because what's interesting is that this town was founded during the Great Migration back in the 20s as a refuge for black citizens, which is why it was especially painful when neo-Nazis suddenly appeared in this 3,000-person majority black town. But they decided to fight back, taking up arms and patrolling their own streets. Now they're at the center of a much larger debate about protection and free speech and who gets it.
These aren't police officers or soldiers.
We're business owners, we're fathers, we're sons, daughters.
These are civilians, members of the Lincoln Heights Safety and Watch program.
It's a duty. Okay, let's go.
The duty, protecting their neighborhood, the majority black village of Lincoln Heights, Ohio. After neo-Nazis held a rally here last month, carrying rifles, waving swastikas, and hurling racial slurs, just moments before children were let out of school. At the time, law enforcement officials said the neo-Nazis did not break any laws, but an investigation by county prosecutors is ongoing. Weeks later, the KKK came with these flyers.
First African-American community above the Mason-Dixon line of staff.
Safety and Watch Group spokesperson Durance Daniels says the police did not do enough, which was more chilling because the town was founded in the 1920s as a safe haven for black residents.
Lincoln Heights is our home. If somebody broke into your home, you call the police, and the police says, you know, if they do it again, we haven't broken any law, so we're just going to allow them to break into your home again. What would you do?
Are you worried at all that having a potentially armed response could just create more friction, create more danger?
I'll answer that by saying I've never felt safer as a black man in my community than I have right now.
The mayor of Evendale, which oversees the police force that responded that day, said in a statement to NBC News, our emphasis on de-escalation and public safety.
Safer as a black man in my community than I have right now.
That brother
the mayor of
basically
Evendale, which
said,
oversees the police force,
say it one more time.
Having a potentially armed response could just create more friction, create more danger.
I'll answer that by saying I've never felt safe.
Bitch, please. That's what he said.
Yep.
I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry, but basically that's what he said.
Yep.
In the nicest way.
Yep.
That's what he said.
It's a
How
shame.
you feel? What's your take on that?
It's a shame because your tax dollars are meant to protect you, right?
You're right.
You pay. It's not like people in that town are not paying their taxes, are not, paying for city services, and these are people who they pay to protect them, and they aren't. And I think what's also important to note in this is that unfortunately a lot of these police forces, the FBI has been really clear in that there are supremacist groups, white supremacist groups are heavy in police departments, also federal agencies.
So the neo-Nazis were the first hate group to go into this town, go in their town, and they basically showed their yellow asses. They got ran the hell out, right?
Yeah.
And then the cops claimed it was peaceful until the black people showed up, right? But the cops that showed up doesn't belong to that town. So they didn't get two shits. They didn't have no skin in the game, right? So the town police that should have been showed up because they was basically on like a town line. So long story short, the neo-Nazis basically won that battle. So the black folks, they basically said, not again. I applaud them with the firearms, them, that's outrageous. They're ready to protect their own community. I applaud them 100%. Then this lady gonna sit here and say, do you fear armed retaliation?
Right. I mean, that was wild. I, like you said, 1,000% support them. First Amendment rights, protecting black children, women, men, all for it.
Why?
The crazy part is that, and just real quick, the crazy part is that I will not be surprised that some of those police officers who did not protect them is the reason why.
Yeah, because they're part of that group.
Exactly.
They did their salute. Whatever they did in the crowd, they probably went.
Right.
Whatever their salute is.
Right.
You know,
right.
They didn't care about those black kids. They didn't care about those children. Children should not see. Children should never see that kind of thing. They shouldn't. No. They should be aware of it, but they should not see it. But now what the kids saw was my community care for me, right. And the man just said, "I feel absolutely. I feel safer now." What that tells you about the police? He doesn't feel safe with the police that his tax dollars is going to at all.
Because he knows, number one, they won't protect him against certain people. And he also knows that calling the police could lead to bad things for him. Us calling the police for a medical emergency or police emergency sometimes leads to us getting
killed by the police.
Exactly.
By the police. That's why that New Jersey City they had their own response for mental health.
Right.
One of them got rid of the police force, I was like, wow, that's extreme.
Right.
If you're going to get rid of an entire police force, at least have the sheriffs. Sheriffs are a little bit, depending on where they are. In the Northeast, they're a little bit more reserved than the South or the Midwest. But if you're going to get rid of an entire police force, at least have some kind of safety net in case a crime does happen. But overall, they basically established Portland did it too, or Oregon did it too, where they established a mental health response unit. Because police aren't trained to handle mental health. And they shouldn't be called for mental health. And they shouldn't even come to back up mental health.
No, they are right. You are absolutely right. Because if your first response is to shoot me or to tase me, right? A person having a mental health episode, that's not how you de-escalate. No. That's against police practice.
No, when it's black people, that's how they de-escalate. Shoot us. When it's white people, they go to the wire to make sure it's de-escalated. They do not give us no courtesy or easement. It's like, it's like they don't see a black man that's having a mental health episode. It's like they see a gorilla about to charge an attack. Like we go from being a black person or a person of humanity to a gorilla of some sort.
We never, not getting the grace, right? Not getting the grace. It's a fear. It's a threat. They're threatened, fear. And if that person unfortunately has a mental health, issue, it's just bad news. Look at the boy. I will never forget the young man out of Colorado, Elijah McClain. I will never forget his face because I think he said was 17, 18, autistic. And the way that young man was killed, and again, autistic, I think he wasn't quite verbal, but
he was verbal, but autistic people sometimes
it's a spectrum, right? It's a spectrum. You could look at his photos and tell, okay, that he was differently abled. I'll say it just like that. He was differently able. You can look at his photos and tell. And to see how they did that boy.
It's sitting there. It's sitting there. They don't even deserve to wear that badge, honestly. They deserve to be locked away underneath a mountain with a boulder just fall on top of them. That's when you do a person like that. Even the black cops that did that young man the way they did in Memphis deserve the same treatment. Honestly, bad police get the good ones bad reps, and there are good police officers out there that actually do community policing. It's almost like you have to say, "Hey, do not." The person who it's like the 911 dispatcher had to say, which officer is this? This Officer James. No, we don't need you. What's the good one name? It's like they gotta say, hey, what's the good officer name? Officer Jones. Get Jones over there. Jones, you go over there. You don't get this motherfucker go over there. Right. Because that person, if they have so many incidents recorded against them, or like use of excessive force, they don't need to even be nowhere near anybody at all. Nowhere near nobody at all. Period.
They should not be. Just people need to be, these police departments need to be held accountable. We pay tax dollars like everybody else. We don't deserve to get unalived or hurt. We just don't.
Real fast, last thing. And I want you to comment. You remember the movie Crash?
Crash.
Luda, Lorenz Tate, Terrence Howard.
Yeah, I do remember that.
You remember in the movie when a cop pulled him over and he sat there and basically sexually assaulted a woman, and when time came for him to do his job and save his life, guess what that woman, Danny Newton character, she couldn't even trust him to save her life. She'd rather die for this man because what he did early in the movie. And it was like almost like a redemption arc, but no.
Right.
Why didn't you do why didn't you do the right thing the first time? But the movie Crash was so strong, it kind of just goes hand in hand with it, right?
It's been such a long time since I've seen it. I would have to watch it again, honestly. But some of the things that are portrayed in Hollywood it's like, wow.
It hit the nail on the coffin.
Yeah.
It hits the nail on the coffin, period. Because it's like they over exaggerate one thing, but then it's like art imitates life and life imitates art.
Right.
All right. Let's move forward where art is responding to life. Let's go out with, no, we're not going to go out, but let's, Dawn Robinson, topic of conversations, people saying, oh my God, I did not know she was living in a car. I did do some research last night. I looked at some videos, and all the videos were her at different places, and some of them with her blocking out, being, let's, and I want to pull it up to this point right here.
House. So every week I was like, oh my God, can you afford it? Are you okay? And he's like, no, I can't, but I'm getting it together. What? You're the one who said to go to the hotel, and you're not approving any of the apartments. Like, it would be so much cheaper to just get me into an apartment. Like, what's the problem? Sometimes I think, you guys, people want to trap you and keep you in a situation where you're vulnerable and depending on them. And I wasn't the one. So, yeah, I got out of there. So there's two people that I have in my life that are keeping me going, actually three. One is my forever mother-in-law. I dated her son. Of course, we're no longer together. And she's like my, oh my gosh, my go-to. And then I have my assistant, Nisi. Sorry. Nisi is, you guys, I swear, every day she's like, Diva, you can call me Diva. You can do this. You got this. Oh, and the third person is Evan, my brother, Evan. And Nisi, I think I'm going to go and sleep in my car. I think I'm going to live in my car. I've been researching it, and I know I can do this. And she's like, yeah, you can. She was gung-ho, and I was like, okay. So I went up to Malibu. Malibu is the place where you can take Highway 1 all the way from New York, literally. And it's kind of the place where everybody stops along the way when they're coming from the East Coast and they're heading west, to California to make their dreams come true, to start a new life. March 9th, 2022 is when I left the hotel. And I got to Malibu, and the music on the radio was Avant, Sailing by Avant. I like Christopher Cross's version as well, but this version was like perfect timing. It was so beautiful. Both of them are beautiful, but it was the moment the sun was going down, it was setting, and it was just like I was filming, and it was beautiful. So I didn't regret anything. I was just scared that night. That first night was scary. But then as I got to know what to do in my car and how to do it, like how to cover my windows, and you don't talk to certain people. You're careful of telling people that you're alone, as a woman, especially. And I'm a celebrity. I don't just divulge that to people. If you don't know who I am, I'm not telling you that part. I felt free. That was a sense of freedom that I had. I was so free. I felt like, wow, this is so different. I felt like I was on a camping trip. I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I didn't regret it, A lot of celebrities have slept in their cars. A lot of people, not just sleeping, but lived in their cars, or lived in the case of Marvin Gaye, he was living in a bread van. I don't know. I miss my family, but I'm proud of me. And I'd rather be on my own right now and see my family when it's time, and when things change, hopefully they come to terms with what they did. You know, my sister, we don't talk, but I helped her so much.
All right, Tanisha, it's basically, I was trying to get to the point of when she just divulges that she's living in her car, but she basically, from that point, and she did, there was a point where it was like a minute or so when she finally comes out after the Marvin Gaye and says, hey, I'm living in my car. I've been living in
Right.
my car for 3 years since the
Right.
time she left her apartment. And a lot of celebrities came out and spoke on that. I didn't really watch their reactions because to me it's like it's pointless. If you're not going to, if you're a millionaire artist and you're not going to say, hey Don, hit me up, I got 20 stacks for you. Hey Don, hit me up, I got 15 stacks for you. Hey Don, hit me up, I'm gonna get you up to $1 million to get your life back on track. If you're not doing that, then what I mean by get you up, like if 20 of them mother suckers came out and said, Don, I got 20 G's for you, right?
Or GoFundMe, right? I think a
No, they
GoFundMe
go
would be,
from her privately.
yeah.
They go and hit her up and say, I got you, I got you, I got you. Yo, where you at right now? I'm about to get you into a house, or whatever the case may be. If they're not doing that for her, I really don't want to hear their comments.
Yeah, I feel really bad for her. I feel bad that, and I think it was another clip. Um, she kind of mentioned Raphael Sadiq and some other things. So
Mhm.
it's a little, it's a little controversy with it. But ultimately, I know she said, she seems to,
Enjoy
she
it.
feels at peace, but living in a car is not safe as a woman.
She
Now it
said
would be
that. She
different.
says as a woman and as a celebrity,
Yeah.
it's not safe. And
Yeah, but she
we,
seemed to be happy with it though. But
yes.
I don't believe her.
And we've seen times, trust me, I watched the video, I watched her body language. When she came out and said that she is happy living in the car, I literally saw the weight come off of her shoulder. She finally, it's like it was an opening for her. And as I told you before we started the show, off camera, I did reach out to her. I took my shot at reaching out to her. I would love to have her on the show. We could have a deep dive discussion. Because I myself was about to take that journey. I wasn't going to live in my car. I was going to actually live hotel to hotel. And the only reason why I was going to live hotel to hotel because I was in the process of buying a house. It was a beautiful house, man. I love this house. The house I'm in now, I love it, but this one was one of them houses I was like, I think I talked to you about it a couple of times. It had the backyard, lake, and all this stuff. So I'm gonna be quick. When it didn't go through, I kind of just threw my hands up and said, let me just get away from Georgia. I was
Okay.
going to just take a trip and stop. I was going to go to Corpus Christi, just work a little bit, stay in the hotel, extended stay. And I was from there, I was wanting to see like other places that I've been to in my journeys of doing my business and
Right.
just kind of just take a break. I don't know how long the break would have been, but I would have took a nice break from doing
Right.
it. So I understand when it's a different feeling. What stopped me was I went to one of my peoples I was in the military with. I was about to divulge my branch real fast. And then I stayed with them for a month and that was what I needed for the regroup. And I just said, I'm not a loser. I'm not a quitter. So let's figure this out. Came up with a game plan with my real estate agent and here I am.
Here you are.
But still,
That's great. It's good that you had that were able to get that month long cushion. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Sometimes people just need a little bit of help to avoid a worse situation.
But honestly, if I'd have just went straight to where I wanted to go, it would have been tougher, per se. Because like I
Right.
said, that my first stop was let me stop there 30 days and then go,
Right.
and go
Right.
find another spot to go to 30 days. And what's crazy, my car was breaking down.
And
So
that's a lot of stress.
that was a lot. I wouldn't even got too far. Didn't realize my car was breaking down. So
That's incredible stress.
yes. So fortunate for me, things worked out in my favor. But you know, I just want to understand, like, you know, the 3 years, and I looked at some other videos, and she's been namaste, konnichiwa, all these different greetings, and she's been
But do
okay.
you think? But do you think? I question if she's really okay. I think that sometimes we can convince ourselves of we can namaste and positive affirmation, and I get it, but
Mhm.
I wonder if she's really truly happy. And the reason why I say that, if you got an RV, okay, I get it. If
Mhm.
you've got, you know, an RV, a Sprinter van, I get it. That gives you a whole lot more room. But if
Mhm.
you are in a 4-door Toyota Camry, I don't see it, and I don't get it.
So what we're thinking about is what you're saying is what your pleasure is, right? What will
Right?
make you comfortable, okay?
Right?
And for a while, she had to wrestle with what will make her comfortable. And what will make her comfortable is just being safe in her vehicle, in her own personal vehicle. So for me, I'm trained to where I can be homeless in the woods. Okay, but that doesn't mean I'm going to be
Okay.
safe, because when you're by yourself in the woods, it's harder for you to survive because you have to deal with wild animals, you have to deal with various terrain differentials, things like that. The reason why I'm trained, because once again, being in the
You're
service.
military.
Exactly. So
But you
that
just
doesn't guarantee my safety. You get what I'm saying?
right. But that's what I'm saying. You have the skills and the ability to do it. And I'm saying even with her, she has the perseverance and she's developed a skill set.
Mm-hmm.
I just know, and I know there are a lot of people who are on social media, TikTok, you know, Instagram, and some other venues, right, who
Mm-hmm.
do live out of their cars. And a lot of them do say they are happy. I still always question if they really are. I have seen content creators saying how happy they are to live in their car, and they are literally washing up in the QT. Okay, they're
Well,
taking bird baths in QT. And
they'll,
I'm just like,
I
girl,
seen one. I seen one will go to like no, they don't do bird baths. They will go and get a gym membership. Now if they have a
Planet
child with them, then
Planet
that's when they
Fitness,
gotta
right?
kind of play a little differently when you got a child. But they have gym, if they're by themselves, they have a gym membership. They go and wash up, do what they gotta do, take a shower at the gym, whatever, right? Um,
Right.
and then they go about their business and they live their life. They're okay. Well, that's called a minimalist lifestyle. Okay, and when they have the RVs or they convert a van, like you're saying, they got a bed they could stretch out, and that is very uncomfortable if you can't stretch out. But if you have a car, and she's not that tall, so me sleeping in the car is way uncomfortable compared to her sleeping in a damn car. So
I
she has like an
yeah.
SUV. Let's say she has an SUV, or something that she could stretch out the back. Lower the seats, and you buy a pad, and you could stretch out and you could sleep. You might not sleep the most comfortable, but when you're 5'1", 5'2", and the back of your vehicle is like 5'5", you have enough leg room. When you 6'2" like me, you don't have leg room. For me, that's why sleeping in my car was not an option. Getting a hotel was an option
Right.
before the hotel.
You have the fund, but that's the thing. You have the funds to afford a hotel, because I think she was saying the money for her hotels ran out. And it's sad, because on one level, I'm like, where are the royalties? To her point, where are the royalties? Where are the payments? Um, I don't think she should be, come on, she's 50 plus. I
58
think
years old.
maybe some people question if maybe there are some mental health issues involved here. I don't know. But
We always like to throw mental health issues at Dawn Robinson way, but Dawn Robinson is a person that speaks her mind. She was fighting for more money with En Vogue, and En Vogue was basically like saying, "Hey, let's not rock the cradle, right? Let's not rob the
Right.
cradle, or not rock the boat. Let's not rock the boat." And
Right.
she's like, no, we need more. They're the ones doing the touring. They're the ones doing the singing, doing the studio time. The record label is looking at like, we're the ones that put the money behind you. We outfit you, we clothe you, and all this stuff. So shut up and sing. Sometimes
Right.
an artist had to understand. Remember when you said, "Oh, you trying to get a record deal?" I said, "Hell no."
You did say that. You were real quick, like,
I
no,
was
I'm
real
not.
quick, right? Because
You
at
were
the end
like,
of the day,
no.
No, I don't give
Right,
two. I don't
right,
care if I made $10 off of a damn stage show. I
right,
made $10 off a stage show. The record
right,
label, they are set up and designed to keep the artist in debt because they look at it
right.
as a loan. When if you don't do business courses, if you don't have a second gear of education, it's hard for you. That's why they said them street cats, when they come in the music business, they have better deals than the cats who don't go to school or who's not a street dude. Because these street dudes, they've been playing with money. They've been doing deals before they even touch the paperwork. And when you look at the paperwork, that's what he got to get messed up at. But that first contract, like T.I. look at his first contract. T.I. first contract to the second contract is totally different because he got released out of his first contract.
Yeah, it's so, like you said, it's so difficult. And within Vogue, we got to also remember, well, how many of them was it? 4 or 5? So you got to split the money.
Yes,
and you got that's a 4 or 5 way split.
Imagine,
I don't know.
Imagine 4 people splitting, let's just say 20 cents per album sold.
Right.
20 cents.
Right.
If they give you 20 cents, a lot of times some people's only making 7 cents.
Exactly.
And you're splitting 7 cents.
Exactly.
Not $7. 7 cents. And when we're talking about records, we're talking about vinyls because they came up in the 80s. So there was no CDs then, and tapes.
Right. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's
not a lot, right?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
You literally have to sell $1 million. And even if you do the math, can we pull up a calculator real fast? Because let's not do that. Let's not do that. So basically, times $1 million, they only getting like close to 70,000.
Right.
If that, off of the record sale. So that's why they always said an artist makes most of their money during the show, show money.
Right.
So now they're splitting it by 4. So when people talk about these 360 deals, and that's a whole nother discussion, but I'm gonna break it down. 360 deal is when the record company says we're gonna make money off of your show, we're gonna make money off your record sales, we're gonna make money off your ringtones, and we're gonna make money off your acting if you decide to act. And guess what? Endorsement deals, because we're gonna make money off of that too. So any modern deal, we're gonna make money off of that too, because you got it from us. 360. Anywhere you turn around making money, that's where they're gonna get it from. So Dawn Robinson, she's on this is her spiritual journey. Not for us to judge, not for if nobody is sitting here and saying, hey, Dawn, I got 20 stacks for you to get an apartment for the year. I got 20 stacks for you to get some clothes and gear, and I got another 20, or if they're not coming as a collective to help her, stay out of it. Let her go through that job.
I hear you, but I do not think she looks happy. I do not think she looks.
Watch the full video. Watch the full video.
I'll have to watch the full. The clips I have seen, she does not look happy.
And send her a message from Paris with love, because she said that was a burden to hide that truth.
And now, I can understand. I can understand that the hiding part. You don't want to feel ashamed of it. I can understand that.
I watched the whole 18 minutes of it. Okay.
Okay.
I watched the whole 18th, and she went from how she started, how she got there, how she was basically fighting the inevitable, then the inevitable was approaching, and she went into it. She did it, and she's been going through the journey. I didn't hear not one of her videos saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm in the situation." Woo. She just
she didn't say that. I'm looking at her nonverbal. She did say she was living with her parents at one point, right?
Mm-hmm.
A disagreement happened with her mother. She said
not a disagreement. Her mother just can't get along.
They can't get along. Disagreement, right? Yes. Disagreements or something. She said she's too
grown for discipline.
Well, no, I didn't say discipline. I said disagreement. Okay. She cannot deal with her mother.
Okay.
Or whatever. And so, like you said, she didn't have any other particular options, but
it wasn't just a mom. She had a manager that used to be a co-manager, and this guy was playing games. He had room to keep her at the house, and he didn't want to keep her at the house. And then he was paying for a hotel every week instead of just getting an apartment. So he was basically trying to rope her in, manipulate her. I think he was just trying to get them cheeks. and playing those games.
Okay. The
That's
music
what I
industry, I think it's we talk about a lot of different businesses and industries. It's amongst the most
Sorry.
gangster.
It's the most ruthless, cutthroat, fake industry, and
Yeah.
it's the most. I don't understand why artists is like the music industry is the only business that puts you in debt right away.
Right.
It's the only one that puts you in direct debt with a record company. If you sign a 2-3 album deal and your first one tank, it's like you have to wait for the time expiration for the first record deal to cut or to be done, to expire, or somebody got to buy you out of that contract, and then you now in debt with somebody else. T-Pain said the most fire shit. He said everybody when that first song "I'm Sprung" was rocking regionally, a lot of record labels was coming to him, and Akon said, "Yo, I can't give you what they give me. I could give you 20 bands. You won't be in debt with me, but you'll have a career."
Right. There you
And
go.
he chose 20 bands and had a career and made way more money than he would have with the record label. All right, let's move on to this last story, and then we out, okay? But before that, we don't got no more. We ain't got no more hostility towards nobody. It's all love now. Let's go.
We're back now with more of our Black History Month celebration. We have something special in our studio this morning. That's Kenny J right there, and his spectacular dance. Hey, here we go. The party started. Boots on the ground. We're gonna talk to them in a moment. First, here's a look at the legacy of soul line dancing and his new renaissance.
Hold on. Did Robin Roberts, did she just clap back with a fan?
Yeah, let me see.
Did she clap back with a fan?
Songs. The ground. We're gonna talk to them in a moment. First.
Look at Robin.
Robin, this is how you feel?
There you go.
That's how Robin feels.
Right.
Look at the legacy of soul line dancing and his new renaissance. Here we go. From cookouts to wedding receptions, and recently featured in Abbott Elementary, soul line dancing remains a guaranteed party starter. A staple in the Black community for all ages, the dance style blends fancy footwork with R&B and hip-hop.
It's the dance that tells the story of America, has given meaning and life, to some degree significance to our experience. Dance is a public announcement of our inner joy.
And now, those joining in on social media are bringing new life to the crowd-pleasing pastime, in part fueled by a growing number of regional dance groups. One of the tradition's pioneers was Dave Bush Jr., recognized by many as the godfather of line dancing. You might know one dance he contributed to creating. One of Dave Bush's dancers, instructor Kenny J, has been teaching steps since 2003.
If you know that dance, you're everybody's friend. It brings people together from all walks of life.
1, 2. He was.
All right. So what you think?
I love it.
I mean, you basically produced this show, so tell me what you think about that.
I mean, I loved it because it's Black joy, right? The world is, going to hell in a handbasket, right? All the stuff this man is doing in office, all the Elon Musty, whatever, all the stuff that's going on, crazy part about it. And Black people we are dancing, we learning line dances. We like, y'all got it. You are not going to take our joy. You do whatever. You are not going to take our joy. And I love that for us.
I like it. I like it. And I'm gonna play devil's advocate. How long will it take before try to appropriate it?
Oh yeah, that's already happening. If you've seen some TikTok videos, it's already happening.
Oh,
it's already happening now. But it doesn't, it still doesn't take away. We are the originators, and we will always be copied. But you can't take our soul, and you can't take our joy. You can't take those are not for sale. Those cannot be copied. Those cannot be imitated.
And if they try to, what we gonna do?
Exactly.
One more time. What we gonna do?
What we gonna do? What we gonna do?
Well, black people, this is what we gonna start doing. They try to culture vulture us. This is what we gonna do.
Yep. Absolutely. Keep on. Listen, we need to keep on dancing. We need to keep on smiling. This is just like 100 years ago with the Harlem Renaissance, right? All the craziness that was going on. You had some of the most creativity from Black people, Black authors, musicians, writers. Zora Neale Hurston. You had Count Basie, Duke Ellington. You had all the greats, right?
Yes.
And they survived, right, by creating joy in moments of absolute hell. They were a community, right?
Right.
In Harlem, other places, they inspired the whole world. So I just want us to keep, and I know we keep it serious and we talk a lot about Trump and all of that and the economy and other topics, but I just want us to always, as Black people, to keep our joy.
Black people, can I read this for y'all before we go out? This is going to be the lead out, okay?
Okay.
Dreams deferred. What happens to a dreams deferred? Let me get my James Earl Jones voice going on.
Okay.
That's one. Okay. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode?
I love it.
I had to switch the voice up a little bit. Y'all have a good one. Stay Black.
Thank you. Stay Black. Y'all stay Black, and we will see you all on Monday.
Have a safe weekend.